So what is treasury stock? It's shares of its own stock that it's repurchased. So whenever a company buys its own stock, those shares are put in the treasury stock account. The treasury stock account is a stockholder's equity account with a debit balance. And we know that debits in stockholders' equity reduce total stockholders' equity because total stockholders' equity is increased with credits. So this account, this treasury stock account, will be classified with equity. So this is an equity account, and the big message is it reduces total stockholders' equity. All right. If a company buys shares of stock in another company, that's an investment. And we saw that in another section. Okay, that would be in trading securities where we saw that. But when a company buys its own stock, it goes into treasury stock. And before we look at the example, that means they're no longer outstanding. They cannot vote, participate in dividends, or have other rights. Okay, so here they purchased 1,000 shares for $25,000. You would debit treasury stock $25,000 and credit cash $25,000. So whatever total stockholders' equity was before, it is now $25,000 lower. So that's the treasury stock account. You can sell out of treasury. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip it. It's called reissuance, and we're going to skip the retirement of stock. So know that this treasury shares are available to be reissued out of treasury. So it can be undone in most cases, unless it's retired. But we won't see that case. Let's see what we have next here. Is the split, the stock split. Okay, and let's continue with this stock split. So this is actually section 10.4 here, 10.4. The stock split is going to be just a memorandum entry, increases the number of shares authorized, issued, and outstanding. The number of shares authorized, that's been authorized by the government. So either if it's a publicly traded company, that would be the Securities Exchange Commission. If not, it would be the state in which you're incorporated. Issued means purchased by investors. And outstanding, issued minus treasury shares. So if it's issued but then bought back, that reduces the number of shares outstanding. So in this example, Smith Incorporated has a 2-for-1 stock split. Before the split, let me see, where am I here? Okay. Before the split, they had 100,000 authorized, 80,000 issued, 70,000 outstanding, and a $4 par value. So you just, for 2-for-1, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, and then divide by 2 for the par value. So you have 200,000, 160,000, 140,000, and $2 par. All right. Now this number could be anything. This split factor, it could be 2.6, 3.72, but you would do the same thing with it. You would multiply. There are such a thing as negative splits that would decrease the number of shares and increase par value. They do exist, but we're not going to deal with those here. So the only ones you'll see are what's called, this is technically a forward split, but if you hear the word split, that's what they mean. Now reverse split, they will always say reverse split. Okay, why do we do this? If you were trading at, let's say, $800 per share before. Afterwards, you'll be trading at approximately $400 per share. It can vary. It doesn't, it's a market. It doesn't have to exactly equal that, but it would be in the ballpark. Um, the research has actually shown that it'll be a little more than 400. Usually, forward splits are an indication that the company expects the value to continue to grow. So it's usually a little greater than um, the mathematical ratio between the before and the after. And why do they do this? There's a belief that you try to keep your stock in a trading range where it's available to most investors. So if the stock price goes too high per share, then it becomes out of reach for some investors, and that shrinks your market, shrinks the number of people that are able to buy your shares, which will decrease the price. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. And the final part here, actually, I'm going to stop now and put this in the last video because this is a little bit involved conceptually. So let's stop at objective 10.4 and start up on the next one.